Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca. Let's talk about makeup. All right, you all, we have come to blushes. This is a big category. I'm not gonna lie, I have got, as of last count, I have 25 blushes, y'all. 25 blushes. 2023 was really the year of blushes for me. I kind of discovered blush for the first time. In the past, I've never really cared about blush, but I cared about it this year. I cared about it enough to add most of this I added to my collection in 2023. So let's go through it. The first two that I'm going to share with you are the most expensive ones in my collection, and they are both Charlotte Tilbury. I got these on sale, and they are still the most expensive ones in my collection. So I have the Glowgasm. Gosh, so obnoxious. Charlotte, don't be like NARS. Beauty Light Wand in Pink Gasm. And then this is the Pillow Talk Matte Blush in Pillow Talk Peach Pop. So this is a shimmery one, and this is a matte one. Oh my goodness. Pink Gasm, as annoying as the name is so stinking pretty. I just can't. Oh, look at that. Just look at that. She is so pretty. Oh, love this. Despite how expensive she is, I love the fact that I own her because she's so pretty. All right, and I'm gonna swatch Peach Pop right next to that one. This was a matte one, and I do prefer a luminous blush, but gosh, look at that color. That is a very summery color in my mind, and I'll probably get a lot more use out of it once the warm weather rolls back around. These two, I have no complaints formula-wise. It's a really elegant, lovely formula. Do I think that you need to spend nearly $40? Actually, I don't know what is her full price 40? It's 42, isn't it? That's a lot of money to spend on a blush. If it's the only blush you own, honestly, I think you'll go through it pretty fast if it's the only blush that you own, but gosh. If you're not opposed to a splurge, these are beautiful blushes. Are they necessary? No, and I will show you why. First, we're gonna start off with, this is called Beauty Light Glow. This was it's called by Beauty Glazed, some random Amazon knockoff blush, obviously. Wait, do I still have highlighter on? I do. What the heck is my makeup wipe? Okay, there we go. Okay. This, at the same time, this is pretty nice for being just this no-name blush. I'm gonna swatch it really quickly. This is a good bit brighter than the other two, but it blends out really nicely. It's a very vibrant pink color with a little bit of peach in it. It's very, oh no, we'll call it a coral. That is a very corally shade. Not quite as warm as Peach Pop. Not bad. I think I paid, I don't know, like $3 for this, or I don't know. Do I have it written down? I might have it written down. This was $2, y'all. This was $2. $2, $42 a piece. Is this formulation a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more blendable? Yes. Do I prefer these colors to this one? Yes. But $2 versus $42, ridiculous. I just can't justify that. One that I can justify, okay, is the Pat McGrath Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Balm. And this one is in Divine Rose. Oh my goodness. I love this. I love the formula. I love the color. I just love everything about this blush. I just love it. This is definitely a balm. If you don't like that dewy Tower 28 Tower 28 blush like look or feel on your skin, if you really want something that's going to set down, this is not for you, because these do not set down. But They are super juicy and so appealing. They're just delicious looking on the cheeks. They just make your cheeks just look so juicy. Love this blush. Love this formula. I do think if you like a more pigmented blush look, these do need to be built up a little bit, and they don't last the longest on me of all of my blushes, but while it does last, it is beautiful. It is also not super expensive, which it's Pat McGrath, but it could be ColourPop. Look at this packaging. It could be ColourPop. Come on, Pat. I think it's, how much did I pay for this one? I think I got it in a duo, but I think I paid nearly $30 for this. I expect at least like a magnetic closure or something. This feels like ColourPop, and that is not why I go to Pat McGrath. 7-year-old just came upstairs, full on sleepwalking. Had no idea what was going on, poor kid. So odd. I have another one who carries on complete conversations in her sleep, like totally legible, coherent conversations is the funniest thing. Okay, where were we? Oh my goodness. We're only 4 blushes into 25. I have got to get through these a little faster. Okay, next I have my 3 Rare Beauty knockoffs. Okay, these are all from Amazon. They're all $7 and under, I think. I think these 2 are from, the brand name is Dan Visit, some random junk like that, and this one is Lake Rain. They don't have any shade names on them, so if you want these, good luck. I think from memory, I think this was number 1 for the Dan Visit blush. This was number 2, and this was Cool Pink in the Lake Rain. Wait, no, this is Dan Visit, and these were Lake Rain. That's right, because I can still see the Dan Visit writing on there. Let me swatch these for you. So listen, how do I feel about them completely dead on ripping off the packaging? I don't mind, specifically because of the way Rare Beauty designed their packaging to be more accessible to people with arthritis and other dexterity issues. I wish everybody would make their packaging like this, honestly. I love it when a brand innovates in such a way that it makes makeup more accessible to people who have disabilities. I love that. So in this particular instance, I'm not mad at it. All right, that was this is my favorite blush. It just, to be perfectly honest, it's my favorite blush, period, at the moment. Here's the Dan Visit one. Good bit more vibrant than the other 2. These are not formula, oh my goodness, that was a terrible swatch. These are not formula dupes for Rare Beauty in any way. They are definitely not as pigmented. They are a pleasure to put on. They are blendable, they are creamy, they last a good long time. They're dirt cheap. I love all of these. I love them all. This one is, I have been using the heck out of this one. I've got some windowing in it already. I think I might be able to actually finish this by the end of the year, which is a prospect that excites me because, as you can imagine, from the extent of my collection, I don't finish cheap products all that often. They are already difficult to complete, but much less when you're rotating through a collection as extensive as mine. All right. I'm going to stay with the affordable options for a little bit. Here are 2 others that are even more affordable than those. This is from AOA Studios. These are each like $1.50 each. These are the Color Flush Liquid Blushes, and I have them in Golden Oak and Mahogany. These have little tiny doe foot applicators, and I think both of these are super pretty. They're blendable. Not quite as blendable, I think, as the Dan Visit and Lake Rain ones, as the Rare Beauty knockoffs, but blendable enough. Why do I keep on swatching way back here where you can't even see it? Both of these are really, really pretty. I know this one looks super intense, but it blends out to a very pretty, you can build it up to be very intense too. So if you have a deeper skin tone than I am, the mahogany will almost certainly show up on your skin, and you can build it if necessary, but it also shears out really pretty. This is the golden oak and this is mahogany. Both, man, my swatches are getting a little sloppy. Oh, this is the Dan visit, but super pretty. Both of those less than $2 a piece. I think on my chart I rounded up to $2 for all of my AOA Studios. Sticking with AOA Studios for the moment, I have their I Heart Dew blush drops. I'm gonna swatch this for you and you're gonna see why I don't love it. It's all right, and I will probably use it up, but I don't love it. This is a gel stain. It doesn't say that it's a stain, but it is. And it's a very liquidy sheer gel. Let me show you what I'm talking about. In order to get any color, I have to build this up quite a bit. Do you see how sheer that is? I have to build this up quite a bit. I'm not going to leave this on my arm because it will stain my skin. But that was the shade, what was the shade? Dolly. For something this liquidy, I don't want to have to put that much product on top of my base products. I think the only time in which this would be useful if I was wearing no foundation. It was just on like a little, I don't know, the e.l.f. Halo Glow and some concealer type of day, and then I could add this stain on top. Obviously it has some pretty good longevity. I just have to put so much of it on my face in order to build up the level of color that I want on my face with blush. So I think there's a fair amount in here, 10.5 mils. I really don't know how that compares to anything else, to be honest. This is 12 mils. This is 10.5. So there's almost as much in here as there is in here, but you have to use so much more of this than you do of something like this. This is the color Cutie Pie. I have not even opened this. I bought these two at the same time. I will probably end up using these and getting through them. I'm gonna try maybe underpainting with them. I just don't trust something this liquidy on top of a full-on foundation. Okay, made room for some new swatches. We have a few more cream and liquid products to go through before I get to the powder blushes. This is the Stila Complete Harmony Lip and Cheek Stick in Sheer Lilium. This is a very pretty, very subtle rosy color. I like it, no objections. This one sets down to more of a powder finish, for absolutely more of a powder finish. I don't know if it's a really powder finish, but it's much more skin-like and less balmy than the finish of the Pat McGrath for sure. But seriously, couldn't Pat McGrath have done something like this for us? Like that little magnetic closure. I just takes it from feeling like color pop to something I would actually spend $30 on. You know what I'm saying? Next stick, this is the Wander Beauty On the Glow Blush and Illuminator. It has a highlight in it, but I maybe have used the highlighter once, to be perfectly honest, so I keep this in my blush drawer and consider it a blush. This is in the shade, the highlight is a Nude Glow and the blush is in Bare. Go, that is such a pretty color. This actually, that is very, that's pretty similar to the Pat McGrath, isn't it? Let me compare those two. Obviously I have a certain taste. It is pretty similar. This one is a little bit more cool, this one's a little bit more warm, and this one is clearly, I don't know if it's clearly for you, but this one is definitely a little bit, it's quite a bit glowier than this one. I don't think this one sets down quite as much as the Stila does, but is nowhere near as glossy as the Pat McGrath. I enjoy all three of those sticks. Here is one that I'm not sure I'm going to hang on to. I think I may pass this on to a friend. This is the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in the shade Nectar. I picked this up because for years, I've heard influencers raving about it. I wanted to try it out. I know this isn't necessarily the shade that I've heard them all. I've heard more about the shade Pinched, but I wanted to try out the formula, and I honestly, I don't know. It's a little mediocre. I think there's better now. I feel like Flower Beauty was one of the first drugstore brands to really go mainstream with this liquid blush. It's a pretty color. I do find that it blends out a little sheer. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy my other formulas. Fortunately, I only paid about $3 at TJ Maxx for it, so I wasn't in too deep of an investment there. It's a pretty color. I don't know. Maybe I should play around with it a little bit more before I pass it on. On the other hand, like, this is more blush than I possibly can use on my one face, so I may pass that on to a friend. One more from AOA Studios. This is their, what's it called? Their Venetian Romance Creamy Blush in the shade Duchess. I ordered these, I think at the same time that I ordered these, and I just did a huge blush haul from AOA Studios is what I did. And I had a couple more of these, but I ended up passing the others on to a friend and keeping this one because it was my favorite. One of the things that I liked the most about this was the colors are they're a little unusual. Generally speaking, with this kind of dusty mauvey color, you end up getting something more light than, generally it's not at this depth. And there is something a little bit, I don't know if you can tell, but there's something a little bit grungy about this color. The same with the other shades in the collection. I found them to be just a little unexpected, and I liked that. It's a nice formula. It's a little bit more stiff than some of my other cream products, and therefore a little bit harder to blend, but it's by no means difficult to blend out. I have really enjoyed using this. Next, we have two ColourPop Super Shock Cheeks. I have to be very careful when saying that because the number of times I have tripped over that sentence. My first one here is my favorite. This is a Drop of a Hat. This is in the limited edition packaging, but I do believe that this is also in their permanent line. It is this really pretty peachy pink with a strong golden shift. There's just something delicious about that color. Isn't there? I just love that. I love that shade so much. I've got pan in this as well. I sure would love to finish this up sometime in 2024. My other Super Shock Cheek is in the shade Birthday Suit. It's quite a bit more, subtle. Let's see if I can get it to show up. Here's the weird thing, okay? This is a matte Super Shock. This is obviously not. I've had this for a few years and it has yet to dry up on me. This one I have had for less than a year and it is already starting to feel a little stiff, feeling like it could use some rehydration. I'm wondering if that's because it's a matte. How long do your Super Shock cheeks generally last you before they start to get too dry to really be usable? I'm surprised at how long this one has lasted. I think it's been 3 years, to be perfectly honest. Still smells good, still looks good. I'm not reacting to it. I'm gonna keep it around until I finish it, but I would like for that to be this year. This one, on the other hand, it's already starting to get a little stiff, and this is less than a year old. Interesting. My remaining blushes are all powder blushes, and we're gonna start with my Pat McGrath Labs, her Skin Fetish Divine Blush in Nude Venus 2. This is a very pretty blush. It's matte. It's more on the subtle side. I do feel like I have to build this one up in order to get it to show up on me with the level of pigmentation that I prefer in my blushes. It's fine. It's fine. It's something that I picked up at TJ Maxx, thank heavens, because it wouldn't be worth the expense at full price, in my opinion. I would absolutely pay full price for this because I love this formula so much. Would not pay full price for this. That said, I wish I could get this level of packaging with this product, because that bougie Pat McGrath feeling, I do not get that from this. I do get it from this, but this product is so much better. Right. Next up is, this was a gift some years ago, and I am still hanging on to it after all this time. I don't use this shade terribly often. It's a more vibrant pink. This is the Lancome Shimmer Pink Fling powder blush. Oh my goodness. That is, you know what, I've had this for years, and it didn't even occur to me when that bright pink blush trend rolled around that I already had this in my collection. Didn't even occur to me. I haven't gotten a ton of use out of it. I've actually scraped some of the pigment out and I used it in, I'm not sure, I frankened something. But it's a pretty shade, and I have one other that's very similar to it. But otherwise it's pretty unique in my collection. The other one that is somewhat similar is probably my newest blush. This is Hot to Touch Pressed Powder Blush by ColourPop in this adorable heart packaging. There, that is very, very vibrant. Obviously not an everyday blush for me. And it does not swatch with the same level of pigment that the Lancome does. That said, I do feel like there's more saturation on the Lancome. The Lancome is a little bit more saturated, and there's a little bit more of a white base. You can kind of see that on the edge there. There's more of a white base on the ColourPop one, and I do think it applies a little bit more sheer, which is probably a good thing because look at that color. This one, this is a Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, a little mini, and it is all shattered to bits, so I'm not going to show it to you. Well, I guess I am going to show it to you, but I use this. I think this is technically a highlighter. Obviously, it's quite old. I picked it up at Marshall's a few years ago, and I use this more as a blush topper than a highlight. It's got a really lovely sheen to it. I suppose I could use it as a highlight, but I tend to more use this on top of other blushes that are more matte than I would like them to be, because I do prefer a glowy blush. It's really pretty. Last two. I think this is the last two, right? Yeah. Essence. Something something. Pure Nude Baked Blush. There we go. These have been rattling around in my makeup bag since I got them, and I love them both so much. I don't know if I have room. Maybe I'll swatch them on the back of my hand. I love these both. This is just such a lovely formula. I just can't get over the fact that it is so affordable, but the formula is just such a, it feels very high end. It really does. I have a couple of Hourglass blushes in one of their holiday palettes from a few years back, and I think they're very similar. Obviously the price points are wildly different, but as far as just the ease of use and the luminosity, Essence definitely has more pigment than the Hourglass ones that I have. They're just both really, really pretty blushes. So this first one, peachier one here, is number 4, Bold Heart. And then this one right there is number 8, Berry Cheeks. It's not really a very berry shade. I love both of these blushes. I have used the heck out of them. I've started to flatten the dome on this one a little bit. I am very pleased to have both of these in my collection. They are my favorite powder blush formula of all time. And based on how much blush I have, that really is an informed opinion, I would say. So that is my Well, actually, let me count and make sure I got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. The 2 that I'm missing are my 2 Salt New York cream blushes. So this is the Salt New York Lip and Cheek Cream Tint Pro in Wine. I'm going to swatch it right here on the back of my hand. This is just their Cream Tint Pro. I just have nothing bad to say about it. It is such a lovely, lovely formula. It can really be sheared out really, really nicely, or it can be built up for more pigment. It is definitely a very traceless. Their whole formula is from all of their line. You put this on very subtly, and it'll melt right into your skin, and you won't necessarily be able to tell that you're wearing makeup. I mean, you'll be able to tell because you're the one that put it on, but others might not be able to tell. And then I have the same formula, the Lip and Cheek Cream Tint Pro in the shade Sunburnt. Really, really pretty, elegant, comfortable, effortless formula. Super pretty. A full face of Salt New York balms is a little bit balmy for me personally. I will still do it occasionally in the summertime, or when I'm in a hurry and don't have time for a full face of makeup. It's a really easy rub it in with your fingers type of makeup. I really am a big fan of the Salt New York. Again, they are very balmy. I tend to have oilier skin. It's more a little bit of dewiness through the T-zone during the wintertime, but during the summertime I can get quite oily. So they don't last the longest on me, but I do love the finish of Salt New York's products. And that completes my blush inventory, all 25 of them. We've also looked at my highlighters, my bronzers, and my contours. I hope you enjoyed this, that it was useful to you or entertaining to you in some way. And thank you for spending this time with me. I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.